They've won Tonys and Oscars and Emmys and Grammys. There's no red carpet 'cause they're home in their jammies. From Melrose Place to Broadway to Janeway and her crew. Let Seth and James bring all the stars to you.
Anywho,
they're entertaining everyone, so who's gonna grouse? Just sit right back and you'll hear some tales on Stars in the
Are live. Welcome. I am neither Seth nor James. I'm Barbara Pasternak. I'm the Artistic Director of TheaterWorks USA. I want to thank Stars in the House for hosting this sneak preview of We the People, America Rocks. If you don't know who TheaterWorks USA is, we, for almost 60 years, have been creating exceptional, transformative live theatrical entertainment. And we have been making it accessible to young and family audiences in diverse communities across North America and in New York. And now that there's a pandemic, there are no borders. It's shifted all companies, all not-for-profits, all theater companies. We've all pivoted and embraced this new digital world. And this recording of We the People is TheaterWorks USA's latest effort to create exceptional, transformative theatrical experience for young and family audiences during a global pandemic. Though the show originally premiered in 2008, the topics of how American government is structured, the Electoral College, the importance of each and every vote resonates today, especially as we draw closer to the 2020 presidential election. We hope the show provides opportunities for young people, educators, and families to engage creatively and explore important issues at the local, national, and even the global level. So we hope you will support us in these efforts by making a gift of any size at www.twusa.org/donate or texting TWUSA to 41411 today, and you'll see that at the bottom of the screen. So now, let's bring on our incredible team tonight and get started. Gordon Greenberg, would you please enter the room?
I'm here. Hi.
He's the director, he's a longtime friend, and he's my honorary co-host today.
I'm honored to be your honorary co-host, Barbara. And I'm a huge fan of Stars in the House, so I couldn't be happier or more gratified to be giving this amazing sneak peek of our process, which was unique. But hey, who else is making theater right now? It was honestly, when you called and said, we would like you to stage the show at Paper Mill Playhouse, which is also very dear to my heart, I just about burst inside. I was so warmed and reassured, and suddenly I felt like there was a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. And I've talked about this a lot, but I was very surprised at how emotional it was simply to walk through a stage door at this point, having not seen one in 7 months. I know it might sound to the outside world like a small thing, but if there's anything that we've learned in the course of this pandemic, it's how much our work means to us, and that what we do, what we commit our time to, has deep meaning and profound resonance in the world. And what TheaterWorks has done for as long as I've been associated with them, and you, which is 20 years now, hard to believe.
Well, we were like, what, 3? I don't know.
Well, I just remember, I mean, how at the start of my career as a director, I'd only ever acted before. You believed in me and also gave me what really amounted to my graduate school education. And I know I'm not alone in this because Michael Mayer was one of my mentors, and he had said, "Don't assist me, go direct for Barbara." And I did. And thank goodness, because I got to meet some amazingly talented people and some dear friends. And this was, in many ways, the climax of that about 11 years ago when we premiered it at the Lortel. And suddenly this piece that we thought was charming and Schoolhouse Rock-esque took on this almost cult-like following, and it became cheeky and almost like the Monkees meets, we talked about this, the Sack Lunch Bunch, which is a more recent, thank you, Eli, who's here with us.
And we got a Lortel nomination.
And a Lortel nomination.
amazing. That was the same year as Hamilton, maybe. I don't know.
It was pre-Hamilton, I think. It had actually what really happened is that Lin-Manuel Miranda sat in on one of our early rehearsals and a light bulb went off. And that was the rest of it followed. It's history. So thank you, Barbara, for Hamilton as well.
Well, you're welcome. And then, there we were saying we were going to do live theater during a pandemic. And the next step was figuring out how we were going to do it in a way that was safe and yet still theatrical. And off we went into the world of Zoom and rehearsing in tents in a parking lot with men.
I will say, you're very fortunate to have Michael Harrington there as an executive director who did this like crazy threading of the needle with the Screen Actors Guild and the Stage Directors and Choreographers Association and IATSE and all the other unions. And kind of like a juggler within the space of 2 weeks, I said, this is never going to happen. And it happened. I couldn't believe it. But we found out that the protocols are smart. They're very doable. It takes a second to get used to foggy glasses, which was my bugaboo. That was the thing that drove me nuts. But you figure it out. And even rehearsing in a parking lot, in torrential downpours, in a tent, flooding. And on the bright side, I always knew what my temperature was. So I felt very connected to my body.
Let's bring on Michelle Lynch, who's the choreographer for the project, because she's in LA and she never made it to the tent.
So Michelle was with us as like a Max Headroom kind of character. So she was always contained in the little computer in the rehearsal.
And I'm watching.
Choreographing. How amazing. And their whole first week was on Zoom. So all of these guys and gals had to learn all of their choreography in their living rooms from Michelle in her living room in Santa Monica.
Yes. And I had moments where I thought, is this going to work? But I think everyone was just so eager to be together and be doing theater. And I transformed my living room and set up my camera so that it looked like a dance studio so they could learn like behind me, and I had friends call in the night before and we did a trial run. And is this the right arm? This is the right arm. And, anyway, it was worth it. It was worth it.
I mean, between that and learning the music, they had to also, everybody who's tried to do a musical knows how challenging it is to do it over Zoom.
It's interesting. I loved being together on Zoom. I think just coming together with this particular group of people who you're going to meet in a minute, all of whom I've worked with on other projects. And I know their talent and I know their amazing generosity of spirit and heart. And it took that to make this come together successfully because there are so many reasons it should not work. There's so many things.
So many reasons, but everybody loves Gordon and everybody said yes. And I think everybody was just happy to be in a space and playing together, first a virtual and then a live space. So,
and then on top of it all, what the show itself is about, which I think couldn't be closer to all of our hearts and minds right now, which is just being aware and engaging and voting and thinking about it, voting however you want, but voting for something and knowing what you're voting for.
Absolutely, and encouraging young people who are the future to have a voice, to use their voice, to be engaged. And I always say adults should see the show too, because it just reminds you of what government is supposed to be like.
Yes. I mean, how many people really understand the Electoral College? I still don't. And I've been through this show several times now. I have the whole song in my head. And in fact, when my nephew asks about it, I start saying every state's population is different. I literally try to explain it to him and myself.
All right, let's bring the cast on so that we can talk to them too. Come on, guys. Let's have Josh Breckenridge, Orville Mendoza, Zachary Noah Pizer, Scott, a company we never would have gotten had it not been for the pandemic.
Oh my God, company, come from away. All of it.
And Dan Rosales, who was actually in Barrington and had more COVID tests than anybody else probably in the universe.
Yes, so, I will say Dan Rosales is the most working theater actor alive today. Right now.
I think I've gotten over 100 COVID tests, but happy to do so. If we're able to make theater, I'm so happy to be able to do it.
That's amazing. Hey, do you guys want to talk about making theater during the pandemic and what it was like for you? And it all seemed like you were so relaxed and it felt like you felt safe and good, and you always delivered. So I'd love to hear about that. Anybody?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and say something about it. This, fortunately, is the second show that I've been able to produce during this time, or be a part of during this time. And I think more than ever, it's shown that theater is just such a resilient community. And when we come together, we're able to overcome almost any obstacle. And so thankful to SAG-AFTRA and to you guys and TheaterWorks and everyone in IATSE to be able to come together and create these guidelines to keep us safe and to keep us happy and healthy, to be able to still work and put something together that is so important for everyone of all ages to hear, that, your voice matters and this season matters. And I just think it's been an amazing journey, seeing it from, Zoom rehearsals to the little clips that we're going to see tonight for this amazing preview. It's really exciting to be a part of. This is historical in some way or another.
I think by the time we're done with this COVID madness, we're all going to be able to teach a class on how to do Zoom performances and Zoom rehearsals, because it's a little, that's delay. It's a little bit crazy, and it's funny. Like during the choreography rehearsals with Michelle, it was like, "Oh, I know this," because everyone was like a second behind. So I was like, "Oh, I know this choreography." And then once we got under the tent, it's like, "Oh, I don't know this. What comes up?" I didn't have the luxury of the 1 second delay.
And you guys, you learned the show in like no time. I mean, it was amazing.
Well, we said from the beginning, we were like, Gordon, I don't know why you cast these 5 people, because we are clowns and good luck getting any work done. But we did. We did. Yeah, it was really amazing to to see how quickly this all came together. What was it, like 4 days of Zoom, 5 in the tent, and then 1 day of shooting, on set, and then it was done. Of course, that has a lot to do with our professionalism as a group, but it's also so much thanks to you guys and like Dan said, Equity and SAG, everybody coming together to make this a clean, safe, COVID friendly, resistant production, and it was. I think we all had a blast, and it was surprising how quickly we adjusted to the madness.
Yeah, I will say, you guys, it was amazing, because really in the end, the entire performance came together in 3 days in the tent. That's what it boils down to. You spent a week kind of learning all of the little parts and pieces, but you put it all together and really first met each other in person, in character, 4 days before you walked into the Pig Mill Playhouse. So it was, I think, nothing short of amazing. And we're fortunate that we had such amazing material to work with as well. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, really. And also, when I saw all of you and, full body Zoom squares, I think I cried, and then that day, the last day when you took your masks off, I realized other than on Zoom, I hadn't actually seen your faces, some of you, because you were new to me. And that was very emotional.
Yeah, I think the craziest thing for me is that, like, anyone who does theater and any kind of production before this knows, like, the first day of school is the day that you go up to people and you're like, "What's up? My name is this. Let me give you a hug. I'm a hugger." Like, or if you're not, then you don't hug. You're like, "Oh my God, I like you touch," and you're like, "Sweet." And for this, we were all like, I felt that urge. So, I mean, I knew most of the people here, but for the people that I didn't know, I was like, I want to hug you. And it's just so weird because it was really the first time that I was in a room, like a first day rehearsal vibe. But I think we all dealt with it so well. Like, I feel like everyone was so respectful and we all had great guidelines and knew what to do. And I always felt safe. And then Barbara, the same thing. Like, when we first got on stage and everyone was like, "Remove your mask," we were like, "Wait, what? Wait, what?" And they were like, "Yeah, remove your mask. You're gonna have to sing." And when we did that, I was like, "Oh my God, everyone has mouths. People have mouths."
Well, like, the removal of the mask was like a whole royal ceremony. Like, place it on this golden tray.
It was so. It was amazing.
The other funny thing is-
Stand back from the actors when they're unmasked, right? There were a lot of rules which everybody followed, and it's good.
So funny story, at the very beginning, our stage manager, Brendan, and I planned to mark everything out on the floor on the stage. Normally you just have numbers along the downstage line so that you understand where you are in space and you can remember that and duplicate it. But we tried to create a graph, almost like an Excel spreadsheet where everything was 2 feet by 2 feet, so we could always count 6 feet. So we knew that we were safe because we had to stage the show at safe COVID distance because we were not bubbled up and we had not spent 2 weeks in a hotel together like they've done in basketball or for Diana, very similar situations. But we instead tried to do that. And then of course it rained on the first day and all the clock disappeared. And then we had to go back to measuring. But these kinds of things were new for us and in some ways made the whole thing even more special because we knew we had to appreciate every moment and it was earned, even though it was a hybrid of like, you know, a theater, a playground, and a hospital. It was all happening.
Exactly. And I put the set up. So I learned how to put the set up. So if I need a job later on and we ever get the tour again, I'm there. I'm in a van. So
and I was just grateful that there were so many masks because my favorite part was that I couldn't put my mask in my pocket while we were filming. So someone had taped a little plastic baggie to the side of a table in the wings for me to just put my mask in. And I think the crew thought it was a trash bag. So every time I went to put my mask back on, there was like random tissues. And then I was like, I just need a clean mask. Okay. So just walk around like this until I could get to a
Totally used that as a trash bag. It was me. I'm so sorry.
It wasn't just you. Every single time I went back there was another piece of tissue or something in there. I was like, yeah, that's not going to work.
I think we should do a quick shout out to the crew at Paper Mill. Laura Green is the director of production, was amazing for us, so generous, and worked miracles. And those guys it's a pretty tough bunch. I worked there a bunch. It's New Jersey ISD, and they were so happy and grateful to just be back at work that what used to seem like yes, we love the Paper Mill crew. What used to seem like a slog to them, you know, they'd be watching TV backstage, suddenly was a special occasion. We've got a show. We have real people. And that was really beautiful to see. And thank you also hugely to Mark Hovey, the artistic director, who's a good friend of mine and a collaborator and was so trusting of all of us and opened their home to us, and doing it there really did feel comforting because it's another known quantity in a place where quality and kindness abounds.
All right, well, we're going to have to move on to a clip. I know that many of the actors are leaving. Josh and Rashidra, you're coming back, so we'll get to hear more stories from you guys. And we'll have writers, and we'll be able to talk about our designers. But I think we're going to show a clip of the opening number.
All right.
Yeah.
Woo. Let's do it.
Are you ready to rock? I said, are you ready to rock? I'm President Washington, haven't you heard, yo? George, he was first, but we're second and third, yo. I'm John Adams and I'm number 2, man. I'm Thomas Jefferson, right after you, man. I'm Benjamin Franklin, these guys won't elect me, but I'm an old dude, so you gotta respect me. We're the founding fathers, we're keeping it tight, y'all. If you don't like us, then go fly a kite, y'all. And we created the American way. We need your government, that still works today. Yes, we did. So listen closely to the things that we say, cause we traveled here through history on the road to democracy.
Hello, America! We are the Founding Fathers!
and we're here to rock your school election.
Back in ye oldie tavern days, we always wanted to be a rock band.
Which was a difficult feat to accomplish because rock music had not yet been invented. Our revolutionary spirit was so cutting edge.
We stood up to old King George Geese and gave him what for.
We fought for our rights.
And we threw tea into Boston Harbor like it was going out of style. The British crew and their awfully unfair taxes almost knocked us off our axis. Till we finally fought back. Ha ha, woo, ha. Tough times, rough times, starting a society. Mean times, that's the price of being free. Oh yes, the English gave us problems galore, and then we settlers had to settle the score. Yes, we did. We started fighting and it turned into war. It would last till 1783 on the road to democracy.
After a year of fighting against the British, we officially went indie when Jefferson put it all down in writing.
You're welcome.
Top 3 things I love: a strong cup of tea, parties at Betsy Ross's house, and sticking it to the Brits. It was a risky move, but we all signed our names to that document.
And what did we call it, boys?
Fortnite.
Wrong.
Captain America.
I'll give you a hint. It was the most important piece of writing in the history of the United States of America.
Captain Underpants.
No!
Oh, it was a declaration, man, that really changed the nation. There was such a celebration, way hardcore. Then we wrote the Constitution, what a major contribution, following the Revolutionary War.
Some would say the Constitution provided the framework for the organization of the entire U.S. government by splitting it into 3 branches.
We've got legislative, executive, judicial. Sign your initial and make it official.
But we're not done yet. At the end of the Constitution, we wrote the most important thing of all.
We gave our citizens a bill of their rights, the most important freedom that we could get.
We wrote it up to help protect all the folks, to make a place where we might all want to live. Those 10 amendments helped establish the rules and guide our country as we got on our way. The Bill of Rights was there to give us the tools to form the basis of the whole USA.
We are fabulous men in wigs.
Pursue your happiness and life's liberty.
And know that it's so big to me.
And me. And me. The founding fathers in the land of the free. And we did it all together. Yeah, we worked together. The guys who made our history. On the road to democracy. Road to democracy. Road to democracy.
Hey, that looked
So much fun.
That was so fun. That was like the second time we've seen. Well, no, we've seen it more than that. Let's get Josh back and let's get Rashidra back.
Yay!
Hey, what did you guys say? It's the first time you've seen it,
I
right?
just remember
I
those
know.
wigs, those wigs, and Orgo's bald cap with the
Oh my God.
sweat line.
Oh, that was my
I
favorite
know.
book now. And I never saw any of it because I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy trying to learn my lines every time y'all were running it. And I was behind the electoral college thing. So that's my first time seeing it.
Going to your flashcards.
Before we bring in Tommy and Eli, Eli and Sam Foreman wrote that number, and Tommy wrote the number you're going to see next. Josh, you know, we spent some time in that van with our COVID officer driving us in, and we got to talk a bunch. And you told me your mom was a 6th grade teacher, and do you think she's going to love this? Talk about that.
I know she's gonna love it. She is. I'm from California, right? And she has her classroom set up in our garage/game room at our at our place in California, and she's loving it. She's now getting into the groove of things. And I told her about this originally when you and Gordon and everyone blessed us with this employment. And she's thrilled. She can't, every time I'm in something, she has to brag to her kids. She has my headshot on the wall in her classroom. So she is going to, she's going to flip when she's able to show this to her kids and say, that's my son up there. So she's very excited.
That's amazing.
I should say Josh's mother also likes to make surprise appearances when Josh is teaching classes, because we've done some classes together over the summer, and she just popped right in.
Actually, she's here right now. Come on.
But if she goes to TheaterWorksUSA.org, she can actually sign up for her class and tell other teachers to sign up to see the show for free until Election Day. So please send there. And again, if you can support the organization so we can keep doing this kind of work, I mean, wouldn't it be great to be able to actually give theater virtual and eventually, please, live away to every single child, every single family? That would be amazing. So I know everyone's hurting now, but if you can give anything, please, we appreciate your support. So let's bring in Tommy and Eli. Hello, Tommy Newman, Eli Bolin.
Hi.
Hey, do you know Deidre and Josh? Have you ever met them, seen them, first meeting?
No, haven't met. How's it going?
Not everyone knows that the show was written by many talented people. Joe Iconis wrote the book that connected it all, and I think one great number, which you're going to hear. But we are so fortunate because the people who wrote this show have gone on to write even more amazing things. And one of the sort of comps that always comes to mind for me, especially in this hybrid theater TV version of the show, is the Sack Lunch Bunch. And it's one of my favorite things I've seen in a long time. In addition to another thing that you did, Eli. Well, two other things. I love everything you do, Eli.
Thanks, Gordon.
So many things. Eli, can you talk about writing this opening number, what that was like?
It was pretty wild because it was my first experience writing for TheaterWorks, I think, right? Yeah, and then so I wrote that with Sam Foreman, who I've been writing with for years and years, and it was really exciting. I've been wanting to write for TheaterWorks for a while, and it was pretty tricky. As I recall, we wrote like so many drafts of it. We wrote like a whole different song first that was called "Building a History," I think. And then we sort of chucked that. And there's like little pieces of that ended up in this. And then we wrote this like draft after draft of this. And I the demo that I was like, I wanted to remember like what this song was. And I went back, and the most recent demo that I could find of it still doesn't match up with how it ended up because we changed it in the rehearsal room a whole bunch. So just watching it now is the first time that I've heard the song as it ended up in like a dozen years. So
you managed to put like 3 Ron Chernow books worth of information into like a 4-minute number. I don't know how you did it, but
I don't know. I mean, that's Sam. I mean, Sam is amazing, and he's just able to do things like that, and then like to make it rhyme is crazy. And then as the show shifted and all these, we had to keep tweaking and replacing. And so like, as we were watching just now, like there were parts that I like remember really well. And then there were like little pieces of the opening. I was just like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that part of the song. So it's like really exciting to watch it just now. I was like fresh eyes.
The game show.
And you're a dad now, and you weren't a dad when you wrote the song, right?
No, not at all. Yeah, I have a 6.5-year-old, and then my youngest is going to turn 3 in less than a month.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah. So it's
6-year-old would like this. I think the 6-year-old would totally like the show.
I think he would like it a lot. Yeah.
And just a little like gossipy combo thing is that Rashidra most recently starred in Company on Broadway, and hopefully will again soon. And Eli wrote this amazing sort of parody of the making of the original Company video or the original Company album. Did you ever see that, Rashidra?
No, I did not, and I need it now.
You need to see it. Both are required viewing. The original, like the cast trying to record after a Sunday night at the end of a long week, is hilarious.
Oh God!
All the attitudes, all the stuff comes out, and frustrated Stephen Sondheim smoking 75 million cigarettes. And Eli wrote this amazing parody with Richard Kind and just Alex Brightman, just a million great people, called Co-op, which I'm obsessed with. And I just thought, who would write this? Like, where does this come from? Funny. Anyway.
And you must. And then the song that's coming up, Tommy Newman wrote. He wrote a couple of songs in the show, right, Tommy?
That's right.
And the We the People song was, I think, was it your idea to make it a boy band song? Was it Gordon's idea?
At this point in time, I don't even remember. And we did it so quickly, too. I remember It was like,
Tommy is, I will just say really quickly, because Tommy's a very close friend of mine, and I believe in his talent so deeply. He just literally opens his heart and melodies come out. And he wrote several songs for us at like a moment's notice. He's there. And I do remember that we said, we need something here. And I don't know, boy band, I think, was on all of our minds. It was on America's mind at the time, and it still is, let's be frank. And Tommy wrote this great tune, which comes up twice in the show, and you're going to hear, I think, both versions appear in the 4 clips that were shown.
Right. And one number that he wrote that you're not going to see, where Josh has a tour de force as Tammy.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
Perfume.
Tommy, the wig is
on.
We had to change Lady Gaga to Nicki Minaj at Rashidra's insistence because it is Nicki Minaj. Like, it's a crazy pink. I think I looked up drag.
Such a bar wig.
That's amazing.
The first for me.
I still don't know if the wig upstaged Josh. I just
no.
That's very difficult. Even after Callahan creation.
Josh is doing cartwheels. Josh is doing flips. Josh is doing things I never
living
even
my life.
That number. So Tommy, when you get
so
to
good.
it, unbelievable. So I couldn't take my eyes off it. Amazing.
I just wanted to give another quick shout out to our design team, who are the same from 11 years ago. Jeff Kreuter did the lights, redid all the lights. Tony Award winner, Peter and the Starcatcher. We've done a million shows together, and a close friend of mine as well came in.
He met his wife on a TheaterWorks show.
Oh, right. We did Camp Jansen, which is another campy off-Broadway kids book written by Larry Benjamin, Nell Benjamin and Larry O'Keefe. Sorry, Larry. Sorry, Nell. And it was genius, and it starred, among other people, Brad Alexander's wife, the lovely Jill Abramovitz, and also as 9-year-old Cam Jansen, Kate Weatherhead, and Jeff was lighting it, and they went home. And the rest is history.
I didn't mean to interrupt. Just thought it was
Sorry. He came in and he lit the heck out of the show in a day, which was amazing. And then we had Laura Levon's amazing costumes, the beautiful transformative set by Adam Koch, and just we were really lucky to have great.
Talk about the woman who did our wigs. Amazing.
And Ashley Ray Callahan, who I've known on many shows, and she comes in and with very little in the way of resources, works some magic because she cares so deeply. I look forward to the huge career ahead for her.
Yeah, and she took care of everybody really beautifully, I thought. She just had a great spirit. So let's move on and show another clip. What do you say we look at We the People?
Boy band.
Boy band, let's do it.
What can I say? I can't help it. Ever since I was a little girl, I always imagined it would be like this.
My college application will be super fly. Yeah, it takes dedication, and I'm gonna try the best I know how. Gonna ace my SATs, and I'm very involved in after-school activities. I'm on the math, the quiz team, and I debated. I'm in every club in school, plus the 4 that I created. And to top it all off, with that extra 1%, I'm running to be student council president. Oh, and I'll be set. I'll look back with no regrets. I'll get into the school of my dreams. Life will be a breeze, and I'm gonna go so far. Gonna go so far.
Wow, cease and desist, young lady. That's the worst thing I've ever heard my whole life. And I'm John Adams. I've heard awful things.
Not everyone gets into politics for noble reasons, okay?
Oh, do you think we stood up to old King George because it made us look mad fly to do so?
I don't know, probably.
What our little Boston Terrier is trying to say is that if you're gonna do something, do it for the right reasons.
Take out your glitter pen. Make sure you're getting this.
Tell me, do you think any one of us ever really wanted to be president? No, no, no.
Well, actually, I really wanted to be president.
The revolution was over, and we all had other plans.
I didn't have any other plans.
country needed a leader, someone ahead of the curve.
You pay attention to me?
No. So we elected a leader who wanted nothing more but to serve. Whoa, whoa, yeah. We the people. In order to form a more perfect union, establish justice and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. That means you and me, we the people.
That's from the Constitution or something, right?
That's a bit of the preamble for you, girl.
We built a great nation on those words.
Wow. People think I'm an overachiever.
So you wanna be the president?
It's just student government.
Still, it's good to start small. And you got plenty of room to grow when you're the president. You're not standing alone. You are part of a greater calling. Now, if you wanna be a leader, don't be shallow. There's a difference to be made. Change or two. Take inspiration from the best. We passed tests with presidential grades. Red, white, and blue. And among these men are Truman, Ford, and Roosevelt, JFK, and Calvin Coolidge, too. Abraham Lincoln, Obama, and Clinton, and every single one of them, 45 presidents. Every single one of them, 45 presidents, came to serve you, and you, and you, and you too.
Hey, I got an idea. Could one of you write my speech for me?
We can't just write your speech for you. We're Americans, and Americans don't cheat. Hardly ever.
But what we can do is teach you all about the government.
What the American government was originally supposed to mean. Once you know that, I'm sure you'll be able to write a speech that's really, what's a young person word for good?
Lit?
A speech that's really lit.
Well, I'm wary. But I respect your chutzpah. Game on.
I am quite content being in school, having a social life. I can't vote, I can't even shine. What more can I do?
What more can I do? Be the change you can be, for we the people.
I'm just 14.
We the people.
What could I leave to we the people?
Just 14.
Just that Bible. Every time.
Eternally.
You look good, girl.
Well, Badia, Badia, right?
I
Badia
do.
Farrar?
Yeah.
So she did this at the Lortel, and she was pregnant.
Whoa, I did not know that.
Your child saw this show.
Oh,
That's amazing.
Yeah. Gordon,
And
did
she,
you
I
remember
think
it?
we decided not to change the lyric to "I'm just 14 and pregnant."
Good idea.
I'm
I
just
mean,
14.
plausible, but good idea.
But that's another show.
Yikes.
Phil.
Oh, another show. Yes, absolutely. So let's bring on another group of writers who are waiting in the room. We're waiting Kevin DeLagula, Brad Alexander, Adam Ovred, and we have Tommy coming back in, I think. Adam, have a beer. That
Hey.
COVID times. There you go. A little patience. Welcome, guys. I feel like I haven't been with you forever. Kevin.
Hello.
Do you guys all know each other, sort of?
Of course we
One
do.
of my first shows
We're all
I booked
pals.
in New York was Kevin directed, and I remember I think it was 10 out of 12 when I pulled him aside, and I was like, "Kevin, I'm not good. Why am I here?"
She said, "This is the biggest role I've had. What do I do? Am I doing this right?" And I said, "You're fine, Rashidra. You're fine. Don't worry. You're going to be great."
What was the show?
The show was Kristen Child's Funked Up Fairy Tales at Barrington Stage.
Right.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
So much
Yes.
fun.
Another TheaterWorks alum, exactly. Yeah.
So let's, Kevin and Brad, you want to talk? Well, let's start with Adam's song because I think it comes next in the show. So Adam had like the most challenging I think assignment, you can talk about your song, and then maybe Rashidra, you can talk about singing the song.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I mean, so my song, The First Amendment, is about it's about the 5 freedoms of the First Amendment, which we consider our sort of big foundation freedoms. And for some reason, I just really wanted this to be like a countdown kind of song, like a Partridge in a Pear Tree kind of song, which turned out to be really difficult to figure out how to do and how to put into words and make it all fit together. And I think it may have turned out to be even more difficult for the actors who have to learn it and memorize it and choreograph it and put it all together. So I can't tell you how many times I've been in the city since the show premiered, and I'll meet some cool young actor somewhere and I'll say, "Wait a minute, you're Adam O'Brien?" I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's me." Like, "Oh yeah, you wrote that song in that show. I did that show. And I hate you so much. I hate you for the rest of my life." So that's my legacy with the show, I guess.
Adam, and you're an actor, so yeah, and you acted for TheaterWorks, so you should have known better. But anyway, Rashid,
Well,
want to talk about that song?
Gordon did a great job on cue card duty during rehearsals. And then I thought I was going to get cue cards on shoot day, but I didn't have them. But luckily I had written them down on my speech cards. So yes, when you see the footage and I'm literally reading them off of that was not acting. That was real life. Because again, 3 days in person. I don't know, Josh. I don't know how you guys, how.
I'll bet it's still in your body, Rashidra, though. It just came out one day. Like once.
I mean, First Amendment to the Constitution. No, First Amendment to the Constitution and Bill of Rights of the United States. I got that. I don't remember anything else.
And the ask, pray, speak, say, got it.
Cue card, index card. Yeah.
Well, Josh, you have 2 cards, right? Josh, you guys didn't have 2 cards.
No, we didn't. Rashid. No, we. I swear, I still say I'm in my sleep. Pray, preach, cease. Just we drilled that so much as a cast, just in the wings, trying to not, because it's one thing to be on stage and mouth your lips, but when you have the camera up in your face that sees everything, we were like, we're not getting away with anything.
Brendan, do we have a picture of the camera that was in their face? Can you pop that one up with the?
There it was.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
That's an in-your-face camera. I will say, we also, as one of our COVID preventative measures, in order to sing safely, there's a request that you be more than 15 feet apart, which even on the giant paper mill stage is a bridge too far. That was too for us to accomplish. So we pre-recorded all the music, and a guy named Dan Rudin in Nashville mixed it. And so they were sort of lip syncing, singing along very quietly. But that helped us to make the environment safer, and it helped them to learn their lines.
Yeah. And choreography at the same time, which wasn't easy either. So, yeah.
So now there's an album, or whatever you call it now. Recording.
And so Kevin and Brad, your number, which it just seems so timely right now. You want to talk about King of the Ring?
Sure. I'd first like to give a shout out to Adam over its bookcase, because I'm feeling a little competitive being right next to you. But
I do have
fine. It's good.
On the front.
Oh, I see. Oh my God.
Oh, flipperoo.
Yeah. Ever the promoter. Okay.
Back on topic.
Yes, right. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. King of the Ring. Yeah, Brad and I wrote King of the Ring, and it was, Barbara said, we need a song about the 3 branches of government. So we decided to take the 3 branches and write this kind of WWE World Wrestling Federation thing, where the 3 branches of the government are basically fighting to see who has the most power and who will become the king of the ring. So we had the executive and the legislator, and the adjudicator, and they're all fighting. And the joke was that, like, you know, the legislator hits him with a bill, but then he's got a special move. He vetoes it, you know, but then he can override that veto. And then the adjudicator comes in and like declares it unconstitutional, you know. So it was just this battle for power. But of course, in the end, they all knock each other out because America doesn't have a king. No. There is no king of the ring. They are all equal powers. And that was the thing. But it was really fun to write, and even more fun to watch, actually.
Well, yeah. And Brad, you can talk a little about the music, but Brendan, do you have a photo of the number that you can pop up while Brad's talking? Go ahead, Brad. No, that's yeah, but that's not the one I want. I wanted one that actually had the costumes.
The one with spandex.
The really violent one.
The one
Extremely
where the
violent.
mask covered your face so that it was COVID friendly.
All right, so Kevin, in order for them to properly wrestle, we refashioned the costumes and made a complete. I mean, it works. It's borderline creepy. It's completely covered.
Borderline,
but
like Gordon, like
not with these
professional wrestling isn't borderline creepy.
I may the natural buoyancy of our cast and the material is so funny and inventive that it just sort of carried it. And I do remember when we got this song, and I've never watched wrestling before, but I think Kevin surprised. And Kevin was like, please watch wrestling. Also, the props are really important. Like, that's a big part of it. So then I got it. Like, I got the camp of it all. And since then, I've been an aficionado of wrestling. No.
Well, we're going to move on in a minute. I'm trying to like keep this. We could talk forever.
Right.
Brad, do you have anything you want to say before, other than the bookcase, before we pop up into
Other
another?
than bookcase, no. Look, I mean, like we as soon as Kevin said wrestling, I just was like, okay, you know, I went to the '80s where that's where I first saw it, you know, in like the mid '80s, and all of that really like super wet '80s, like the Rocky movies, the later '80s Rocky movies, like the Vince DiCola training montage, and we just doubled. It was such a no-brainer. It was like, let's just double down on '80s, you know,
like arena
hairband
rock, too.
arena rock,
Yeah.
and it just kind of just flowed out. It was really fun and easy to write. And Kevin, of course, sort of architected it, so the music was a natural thing. It came right out of it.
Song. Everyone's going to get a chance to see it, you know, when they see the show. And we're going to move on to the next song, which is the President's Song by Mr. Joe Iconis. And it's
great.
Electoral College to everyone. So let's do it.
The president?
The president.
So the president gets to decide who makes the decision.
That's right, Smarty Pants.
So the president could totally just appoint all her friends, and then they'd have to back up whatever she says.
Well, no, Don, that's not how it's supposed to work.
Get back, I'm working out a little motion. Get back, I'm putting an idea in motion. Hold up, I think I feel a little bit wired. Ooh-wee, I'm seeing a vision of me making every decision and getting everything I ever desired. I think I'm getting inspired. It's so easy, it's almost dumb. To get what I want, I just have to become the President of the United States. The President of the United States. Open the doors, lower the gates. Here comes the President of the United States. Hey.
Huzzah! You're getting inspired by the government.
No, not by the government. By power!
Wait, what?
I got a knack for always being right. It's not too often that I lose a fight. And if I do, you know I try harder next time. But there's one way I can guarantee tremendous perpetual victory. All I gotta do is be the President of the United States. The President of the United States. Open the door, knock down the gate. Here comes the President of the United States. Hey.
See, I'll start by winning my school election. election, and then it'll be on to the top banana, the leader of the executive branch. And nobody's ever gonna be able to say no to me ever again. Huzzah!
That's not what power is about, Don.
But nice use of huzzah.
Power is a privilege given to you by the people.
Letting the people decide who gets to be president. That's pretty important stuff.
You can't just say, I want to be ruler, so I'm going to be, like they do in England. You can't just say, I want to be ruler because my daddy was, like they do in England.
The people vote for you, so the true power lies with the voter.
See, he studies all the candidates and then decides who he likes best. He studies their platforms and views. Behind the curtain in the voting booth is where the whole process begins.
So exciting.
Who's he gonna choose? He makes his choice and registers his ballots added to the rest. So many votes, so much mathing to do. They tally up the number,
And the person with the most votes wins.
No!
No!
Every state's population is different as such. Some are empty and some are packed. If every state's vote counted just as much, well, that would be awfully totally whacked. Difference in the size of state is something we need to acknowledge. So I present to you that special crew, the Electoral College. Yeah! The Electoral College.
The Electoral College, is that hard to get into?
No, because it isn't a school, Don. The Electoral College is made up of chosen representatives from each state. They look at the presidential candidate that their people like and vote for him on our behalf. The electors elect the president for us.
The electors kind of complicate things, don't they?
It sure does.
Well, how many are there?
538.
And I just need the majority to win? How many is that? Let me think. 270. That seems totally doable. I shall handily win the presidency and join the ranks of all of the women presidents who have served before me.
Well, actually, there haven't been any women presidents.
Yeah, I know. I was making a point.
Oh, I didn't realize. What was your point?
That there's never been a woman president. But I'm gonna change that. Actually, Kamala might change it first, which is cool. I'm gonna let her have that. But if she doesn't, I will. And Oprah is gonna be my vice president. If she's not available, then Zendaya. But hopefully, Oprah.
And Oprah's gonna be like Don Shapiro. I so respect all the good that you do, Don Shapiro. How you never give up on the things you pursue. How your library books never get overdue. Oh, I wish I was smart and as perfect as you. And so powerful too. So very powerful too. 'Cause you're the President of the United States. The President of the United States.
Sure.
We're back. There you go. Everybody's here. Okay. So we are.
Surprise.
Little notes that say, "Hey Jill, I need to move this along." So I just wanted to. We don't have Doug Lyons here with us. He and Ethan Factor wrote a new song for the show. We love it. It's great. Wait till you hear Rashida sing it. Let's roll tape of Douglas Lyons.
On this show, and trying to figure out what the finale would accomplish. It was important that I think we use the moment that we're actually in right now, that we didn't shy away from the truth and the pain and the discomfort and the confusion that is America at this point. So writing that finale was trying to figure out a way to reach young people, to empower them with their knowledge, but also to make space for their emotions, and the truth that they may be feeling right now. You can reach millions, thousands of kids with a song, with a lyric, and inspire them and connect with them and make them feel like they matter and that they're seen in a way that, if you're a kid in this country right now, you may not feel like you have any power because you can't vote if you're not older than 18. So music is our way to empower them. It's changed my life. The theater changed my life. And then seeing the joy on kids' faces, it's really redirected how I am a composer now, because I, try to do something with youth at least once a year when it comes to writing, because that is the next generation. That's the power. Those are the new thinkers. They are the future that are going to change the mess that is America right now. So, I think musical theater is the ingredient to change. especially for youth.
And we're back. So just because I was having trouble with my computer, I did not see that a whole bunch of that President's song got cut off. Did we even make it to the Electoral College?
We saw a fair amount of it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw most of it. The end, it's just the end where Rashidra has this great dancing moment. I got the power.
It was like the telltale end, but we got all the electoral stuff.
We got all the stuff. We just didn't get your big giant moment, Rashidra. Yeah.
Hey,
So
just gotta watch the theater on the screen. It's fine.
Exactly.
So let me see if I can pull up the vocals I said.
All right, let's bring in Michael Harrington, the Executive Director of TheaterWorks USA. Come on in, Michael, join the conversation. I hate to rush this along, but I feel like I'm getting little like notes here.
We had too much fun.
Michael isn't here. Okay.
Just kidding.
Then there you go. Then you know what? Since he isn't here, let's move on to the next song. What do you think?
Let's do
it. Let's do it.
Wait, because Brendan says someone needs to leave. Well, we only have 4 people in the room now, Brendan. So I feel like, all right, I'm going to let you deal with that, Brendan. But you know what? We are going to show Douglas's song right now. Let's do it.
Yeah. I have one more itty bitty question.
Oh, come on.
How does anything ever get done? With so many viewpoints and red tape and bureaucracy.
The system is perfect and has worked for quite some time. Thank you very much.
But maybe it needs to change.
But change scares me.
We're old school, but Dawn and her friends are the future. Maybe they'd like to change the system.
To make it modern and lit.
And they've got the power to do that.
They can fight for what they believe in, petition, cause a patriotic ruckus. That's why it's so important to get out and vote. And not just vote for the person with the best speech, but the person who stands for what you believe in, what we, the people, believe in.
You guys are like the most accomplished old dudes I think I have ever met.
Old? 285 is the new 40. I read it in Cosmo.
We believe in America, in change.
I believe that I need to change my teeth right now.
Everything you've done is for the people, and all too quickly we forget.
It's people like you coming together that make the world a better place.
I'm not a natural leader. Compared to you, I'm dead weight. Look at all that you've done, all the battles you've won. But who inspired you to be so great? We the people. I'm a waste of space. A presidential disgrace. I'm just rounding out my college application. To ourselves and our posterity. Who cares if I run? What have I done? But we the people.
What codswallop?
Language, Jeffy.
What codswallop, I say? Pick yourself up by the sweater vest, little girl. You are on the brink of being elected to a very important office.
But how do I help the people if I'm just student council president? I told you guys it's not that kind of organization, maroon or gray, remember?
Just because the office of student council president never meant anything before doesn't mean it has to be that way forever.
Jeffy is right. Change. Use your office as your platform. Shake things up.
Rebel!
But, oh no, that's the bell.
It's time, Dawn.
But I have to give my speech. I'm not ready.
You have everything you need.
Right here?
No. Here. Remember, it all starts with one person, Dawn. Be that person.
Boys and girls, put your hands together for your candidate, Dawn Shapiro.
Is this thing on? that was a joke, people. Let me hear you make some noise. Okay. What the Government Means to Me by Dawn Ebony Shapiro. Okay, as your school president, I'll make sure that the snack machines are always full. And I'll, hey, there are 27 amendments. Bet you didn't know that. You know what? I was only running for student council president because I thought it would look good on my resume. Shocking, I know. But that was old Dawn. This is the new Dawn. And she believes that we can either sit around complaining about all the things we don't like about America, or we can stand up and do something about it.
We today, with your votes, I'll change this room. I'll lead you, I'll listen, we'll rewrite rules. We're not just kids and students, we have a say in what we learn. Our programs need improvement, but if we don't fight, our future burns. Hope isn't lost, change has a cost. I've made the choice to use my voice. I'll use what I got, a little or a lot. The world will rejoice when I use my voice.
I used to think the government had nothing to do with me. But today, I realized something. The government isn't just a few old people with power, it's all of us. You and me, we the people, sharing that power, trying to make a difference and demanding to be heard. But they only hear us if we exercise our right to speak up and sing out.
We can be the generation that inspires. No more racism or hatred, take our minds higher. I don't need permission, my voice is my ammunition. Trust that I will lead you, let me hear that you are with the mission. If you're gonna change the world, say ayo, ayo, ayo. I'm talking every boy and girl. Ayo, ayo, ayo. I'm here to represent you, I'll do what I have to do. I feel the world is changing, who knows which way it will go. But as it's rearranging, there is one thing, I'm sure I know. Hope isn't lost, change has a cost. We've made a choice to use our voice. We'll use what we got, a little or a lot. The world will rejoice when we use our voice. Hope ain't lost, change has a cost. You've got the choice to use your voice. Give it what you got, a little or a lot. The world will rejoice when you use your voice.
Use your voice. Get out and vote.
It's so exciting. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Michael. Michael Harrington, Executive Director.
I am here.
Yay. So, Michael, tell us a little bit about, how people can watch the show. What's the trajectory for it? And how many people have already asked to watch it?
Sure. So here's the plan. Between now and Election Day, or really between Monday and Election Day, thanks to a grant from the New York State Council on the Arts, we are making the show available for free for streaming to schools and to our presenter network across the country. Go to TheaterWorks.org to register your school to be able to watch the full production for free between Monday afternoon and Election Day. After that, it will still be available through TheaterWorks USA. This.
Did he freeze?
I think he froze, but I will continue on his behalf just to say that it is available through TheaterWorks USA, which is TWUSA.org. And schools can still call and request to be a part of this and for free to watch it. So I encourage everyone to sign on and take a look because it's extraordinary. This piece is so smart and written by the best people in the entertainment industry right now. So much talent packed into this 1 hour show and so much information that I am taking and showing it to my nieces and nephews and anyone who will listen, because I think this is the moment to be reminded that we're all a part of this democracy. And the most important thing is to engage and use your voice, as she says, as Doug Lyons and Ethan so aptly said. It really has a great message. Also, it's a lot of fun. It's really silly.
It really is. Yes. And after Election Day, you can still watch it. There's still ways that you can get it. You can bring it into your school. You can bring it into your theaters, and go to our website. And Michael's back. He can tell you more about that.
Oh, I can't because I missed everything you said, so I don't want to be redundant. But visit TWUSA.org to register for the show. It's free between now and Election Day. After that, it will still be available. Talk to our team. As I was saying, I think when I froze, normally this time of year, we would be sending about 10 shows out on the road and in preparation to reach about 1.5 million kids with live theater. This, We the People, is our effort. Thank you to Gordon and Michelle and the cast and everybody that worked together to put it together. Our friends at Paper Mill, of course, Barbara, the entire team. This is our way to try to still make theater a part of young people's lives and young people's education. So please join us. Please support us if you can, so we can make more of these kinds of things for the next year. We hope to be back on a live stage sometime soon, but most likely not till 2021.
And thank you to everyone. And thank you, Ryan Judah, who just said hi for keeping us safe.
Of course, Ryan,
our COVID officer. This has been great. I love seeing everyone, and I wish I could see everyone every day, like in life. But for now, this is a great way to be reminded that we are all connected through theater and through voting process and democracy, and we're all in this together.
We are, and you can still go at TWUSA.org. So keep that in mind. Hello, guys. You popped back on.
Hi, Brad. What happened to your date?
My date? She's here.
Yeah.
Jill's coming in. You keep talking. She'll pop her head in.
I feel like she should be a part of it.
I think we got to wrap it up.
Here. Oh, this is the off.
There's a child. And another child.
Get him out.
And a wife.
Lynn.
And another couple that met doing a TheaterWorks show. So I feel like that.
We are family.
Elena,
what it's all about.
Lots of family.
Wonderful.
Oh, exactly, Rose.
We'll see you all again. We'll have a premiere. We'll watch the whole thing.
Awesome. Love you guys.
Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
That
Thank
was
you,
awesome,
everybody.
you guys. Awesome.
Get out.
TWUSA.org.
Vote.
And vote.
Vote. Blake Voss.
Fun.
Blake